morning. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the Pitch Strike Chronicles. I'm Uncle Tass. I'm here with Rob and Donald, and it is finally opening day of the 2025 season for our New York Yankees and all across baseball. We've been waiting for this ever since the last pitch of the 2024 season came to a close, and a lot of anticipation, a lot of ups and downs throughout the offseason, spring training. But this is probably one of my favorite days of the year. So I am just completely, there's nothing could bring me down today. I am on cloud nine, and I will be on cloud nine till the day comes to a close. But it's just one of those days where I haven't worked opening day probably in 16 years. I've said that. And this is really just a celebration. It's a celebration of a new season of baseball. The unexpected can be expected. So it's, where do we see this Yankee team going in this season? I think this is still very much a playoff team. I still think this is a team that is still in position where they can win the division. I think the core of the team is stable enough to withstand some of the hardships that came this offseason with players that we lost, players that are injured, where we're anticipating when they were going to return. The loss of Cole, none of that has really deterred me from having confidence in this team now that the season is starting, because everybody has the same record. So with that said, gentlemen, how are we feeling on this opening day morning?
I mean, how else do you want us to feel? It's opening day. The season's finally here. We're ready for baseball, man. It's been a long off season. Doran said it's finally over. The off season's finally over. Spring's finally over. The games count for real. It's the best day of the year until we get to the first day of the playoffs. Yeah, this is fun. Every season you get excited for opening day. I can't wait for it. I'm excited to see a lot of these younger players like Dominguez and Ben Rice, Volpe, Wells, see what these guys can do. And also knowing that game 1 of 162 does not determine your season, but also we're going to act like it does because that's what baseball fans do. We overreact to just about every single game, but that's the beauty of it. We're going to cheer for every hit. We're going to get mad at every opponent's hit. And if we lose, we're going to act like the world is over. But I'm happy for opening day. I'm glad it's finally back.
Donald?
I haven't actually watched a single spring training pitch since Garrett Cole went down. So I made that conscious decision. Partly because I wanted to make sure I was kind of fresh for opening day. So listen, I'm not that high on this team, so whatever they give me is going to be a positive. I'm not sure. We'll wait and see. I'm giving them a wait and see. I'm not going to say I'm excited. This is the least excited I've been going into opening day, but we'll still wait and see. You know, I still believe that they're a wild card team. I wouldn't say that they're a playoff team, but well, they were going to make playoffs, I think. Yeah, for sure. I just think that they're a wild card team rather than anything else. But yeah, we'll break it down. We will break down our predictions and who's going to have a good year, who's going to have a bad year, and look forward to getting into that stuff. And yeah, I am looking forward to the first game. Who wouldn't be? It is great. It is good. It's always fun. Let's go.
Yeah, there are people that are a little hesitant to get wave their pom poms for the team this year, and I understand that. And I don't discredit that opinion. But when you don't know how this season's going to go, so why not start with a little bit of optimism? That's the way I always come into it, because it's a day I look forward to every year. It could have been one of the worst off seasons the Yankees have ever had, coming off of their worst season they've ever had. I'm still going to be amped up for opening day. Mm-hmm. So I think that the long-term predictions on it does kind of bring it to a sobering moment where it's like reality kind of kicks in. and we'll see how much of a sobering effect it has on us as we get deeper into our predictions throughout the show.
To be fair, you're right, man. There is 161 days to be realistic, and maybe this is a day in which to be kind of be optimistic. Yeah, you're right. You're right, man. You're right.
Yeah. So, but one thing I am always optimistic about every day is the great chat we have and all our subscribers and our friends. So I want to give a quick roll call shout out to, we have Doran hanging out with us this morning, Stephen B, Drunk Hispanic 77, Lou, what's going on, Lou, Sean Brown, Dev Finch, you got Ken, Jonathan, Big Blue in the Bronx, what's going on, FJ, ABX, and CT Cards. And I'm so glad to see CT Cards in the chat. And we look forward to seeing you more on a regular basis now. But let's start with some more of an optimistic prediction to kick it off. Where do you have the season really ending with what do you think the record would be?
The final record, the New York Yankees.
Before the game, obviously the Dodgers and the Cubs already played.
Okay.
But before any teams play, where do you see the Yankees record at the end of the season?
I have the Yankees on 84 wins, wild card team, probably the second wild card, and to lose in the wild card series. That's what I've got. 84 wins. Yeah, probably. Maybe second place, maybe, possibly third place in the East.
Okay.
Yeah, before the injuries to Cole and Stanton, I was actually hey Ken, we got a membership chat there from Ken. No better than opening day. Let's go Yanks. Thank you, Ken. Let's go Ken. Thank you, Ken Claus, for supporting this channel throughout the entire offseason with all those gifted memberships. And thank you to everybody else, of course, in the chat for being here with us every single day throughout what was a very long, slow offseason. But you guys stuck with us, and we thank you for that. But yeah, before those injuries, I was like, a lot of the issues that the team had last year, like how many games did we lose because of bad defense and a bad closer? They would win those games this year. So I was like, this team could win about 96 some odd games. And Ken Claus at it again. Thank you, Ken. But now with Cole and Stanton down and Heel, I'm thinking more along the lines of like 90. Maybe they can match 94. But I think they're going to get to the 90 mark, maybe a little bit higher. I think this is still they still have Aaron Judge, you still have Max Fried, you still have Rodon, you still got a good team here, and a lot of things could click. I don't think it's going to be all perfect, of course, as baseball is never perfect, but I still think there's enough firepower here that can get to 90. I'm not going to go too much higher than that because again, losing Garrett Cole is pretty dang significant. Same thing with Stanton and I guess Donald hated my prediction. I think without those guys, it's going to be difficult to reach that number. But I think we'll get to 90, maybe even higher. But I won't go too far past the 92 win mark.
Yeah, I would have to say mine would have to be. I'm going to say it's going to. I don't think we go over 90. You can say between 88. So I'm going to go. I'm going to split the difference. I'm going to say they finish with 89 wins. I think they're significantly better than a 500 team because of the reasons you just said. The defense and the back end of the bullpen, I think, is going to be a key factor in the way the outcome of the season goes. I still think that can win the division. I think it's going to come down to the last couple games of the season, whether it's going to be the Yankees or the Red Sox, to be honest with you. I don't think it's the Red Sox are a team to sleep on this year. I think they're the threat to the Yankees for the division. So it's going to come down to the last couple of games of the season between the Yankees and the Red Sox for the division. And I'm going to say 89 wins.
Yeah, that's fair. Because again, you don't know. The Orioles are dealing with a ton of injuries. The Red Sox should be a hell of a lot better.
The Orioles pitching is suspect.
Right. And it was already suspect, and now with the injuries, it's going to be even more suspect. The Red Sox should be a lot better. The Rays, you never count them out. Toronto's going to have some thump in that lineup, but their pitching is a little bit And then you look at us, it's like we should be a good team. On paper, we still are a good team, but if the Yankees hit that second half swoon they always hit, that could kill us. So if they can avoid that like dramatic 1 to 2 month lull that they go on, then we should be able to reach that 90 wins. But if we hit that number, if we hit that point again, like we were 2 years ago, it could derail us. So I said the other day or last week that we need to have like a good April, at least good enough to where they're still in it. And then you're like, okay, we can get to a good number. But if they play like they did last year in August and stuff like that, they might not have enough to overcome it like they did last year. Like last year, they had Cole coming back. They had Judge. They had Soto. They had Stanton. They don't have that this year. They only have Judge. So we'll see. But again, that's months from now. Hopefully things go well. But I still think this team has enough firepower. And the division is still very much up in the air because as much as things have to click for us, they have to click for Boston as well. There's no guarantee that Boston's going to go out and win 100 games. They could. They got a damn good team. I'm kind of afraid of the Red Sox because they got Bregman now. But a lot of things have to go right for them. A lot of things have to go right for every team. It's going to be a fun division this year. I think there's no clear-cut favorite. When we were at full strength, I think we were the team to beat. But now it's kind of a 5-team race here. Even Tampa Bay, never count them out. They will probably benefit from playing in our minor league stadium, playing at Steinbrenner Field. So we'll see how it goes. I'm excited.
Yeah, no, it's once we started getting in a little deeper into the offseason prior to the start of the spring, it looked like the Yankees were just going to steamroll the American League because it really is not a strong division. The American League is not what it was. It is weaker. There is more of a clear path for the Yankees. It does depend on if they are going to able to execute on the improvements that the roster's made, and it's really all it comes down to. And going into today where we don't know if it's going to click or if it's just going to be a disappointing season. I have to just have that little bit of optimism I have left that I always come into. And I know Donald's trying to figure out his internet for his connection. While we give him a little time, Rob, let's go through the chat a little bit and see what our friends here are predicting for the Yankees this season. Fritz, always good to see you in the chat. How's everything going? Fritz is saying 93 wins. I don't see 93, but I don't think that's a ridiculous number to expect.
I can see that, though, because, again, I think with the fact that we can't forget that we have a closer now, and our defense is better. Again, we lost at least, and it was probably more than 5, but at least 5 games last year that the defense and the closer cost us. That doesn't happen this year, so I think that they can reach 93. They might be able to reach 94. That's probably best case scenario, though, because we can't forget without Garrett Cole for an entire season and without Luis Gil for half a season, can Will Warren carry the load? Can Carrasco be good for a good half a season at least? Can we get a full good year from Stroman, or is he going to fizzle out in the later months of the year when he gets into the summer? So what is Rodon going to be? Is Max Fried going to be the ace we're paying him to be? Hopefully he is. But I think because we have an actual closer now and a legit setup, a legit 8-9 combination, along with good defense, which should be good defense, this team should be able to match, at the very least, match their total. And I think they do have enough firepower in with the offense, of course, with Bellinger and Judge and Goldschmidt. Austin Wells has looked great. And if we do get breakthroughs from guys like Dominguez and Volpe, then it's going to help. And, of course, I'm not going to forget about Jazz Chisholm. I know we're probably going to talk about X factors and stuff like that later on, but I think call me a shill if you want, but I still think this is a very good team. I don't think it's a 100-win team, but I think it's a team that can reach 90+. And I wouldn't be shocked if they reach 94, 95. But I'm also not going to go out and say, oh, this team's winning 100 games easily and they're going to cruise to the division title. It's going to be a dogfight for sure. I just don't think it's going to be that terrible. But again, things have to go right. And if things go wrong, it could be catastrophic.
And Dev is estimated. His guess is the Yankees will win over 90 games. I was reluctant to put them to the 90 mark, like I said earlier, because of some other X factors. But the other part, never mind with the pitching, is Judge does not have the protection like he did last year, and it's not to discredit the abilities of a Goldschmidt or Bellinger. But the Yankees will not have Stanton to start the season. We're not sure what's going on with him yet. So I think the 90 mark, a lot of more things would have to go right than wrong for them to reach that mark. Donald, welcome back. Hopefully all is well. Everything is fixed on your end. Do you see any path for the Yankees to get to 90 games? Was he frozen still? All right.
I guess
but
I don't know what Donald's thoughts are there.
He's
deep in thought.
I think it's the situation where, because of not so much the pitching, but with the structure of the lineup. I think starting the season, I don't see it an easy path to 90.
Yeah, again, a lot has to go right. I think 90 might be I would say 93 might be best case scenario. Maybe 95 is the max to where everything goes their way. Because again, we can't understate how important Garrett Cole and Giancarlo Stanton are to this team. So 95 would probably be that's the best case scenario. But I don't think 90 is impossible. Because let's forget 2023 was a terrible team, and they still managed to finish above 500. This team is far better than 2023's roster.
Yeah.
So to say that they're not going to be able to reach 90, I think that's a bit insane. Now, things could go catastrophically wrong, and they finish with 84, 85 wins. Absolutely. That's entirely possible because baseball is a strange sport. But I think that 90 isn't impossible, but it's also around best case scenario is where you get to that 90 mark, maybe a little bit higher.
All right, you're back, Donald.
I'm getting kicked out of StreamYard every minute right now. Bear with me. So what's the consensus? 90 wins?
Well, I know you were saying around 84 wins was your prediction. Couple of the comments in the chat were more into the 90 range.
Okay.
So you were frozen up when I actually about it a minute ago. But in your opinion, from what you see of this roster as we know it, do you see a path for the Yankees to actually reach that 90 mark?
Oh, sure. I'm not saying that they're not. I'm just saying that 84 is maybe a little bit more what I think is going to happen just with the losses that they've suffered. But yeah, of course, there's easily a way in which to get to 90 wins. They've got a really good bullpen. They've got a great closer. They've got one ace, and they've still got a decent lineup. It's not the lineup that I usually expect from a New York Yankees lineup, but it's still a very decent lineup. So the 90 wins for sure. No doubt about it.
Yeah, what's going on, Jake? I haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you back on opening day with us. He's saying right around 90 sounds right, up or down depending on our X factors. So let's bring the X factor, because we've used that phrase a couple times in the list. What do we think is going to be the biggest X factor for the success of this team? Is it where do you rather than try to make it a multiple choice question, just what do you think is going to be the biggest X factor as far as a part of the team, whether it's offense, defense, pitching, or a specific player?
Well, I think it's a lot of our youth. I'm Aaron Judge is going to have an Aaron Judge type season as long as he's healthy. I'm not worried about him. I think Bellinger's going to be really good. I think Goldschmidt will be fine. It's about Wells. It's about Volpe. It's about Dominguez. Even I know I said don't put too many expectations on him, but if he has let's say a Jackson Chourio type of season, this offense is going to be really good because of it. So I think a lot of it has to do with our youth, and that also goes to the pitching side. Look at Will Warren. He's got an opportunity here to really step up and prove himself. Look at even Clark Schmidt. I know he's not a rookie by any means, but he's got an opportunity to step up when he comes back to really prove himself here. So I think a lot of it has to do with youth and creating offense, and that goes to what Ken's saying right here. The use of speed, situational hitting. We can do that now. I can't stress this enough. I've been saying it all off season. They have speed now. They got Bellinger. They've got Wells who can run pretty well for a catcher. You got Dominguez. You got Volpe. You got Jazz. You'll have Cabrera. You'll have Peraza sprinkled in a little bit. If they make some midseason adjustments, you can see even a guy like Everson Pereira at some point come up. Ben Rice can run the base as well. They have speed now that they did not have in previous seasons. And that could be, I'm not saying losing Stanton's a blessing, but if there is some sort of silver lining, is that having Ben Rice, who can have some 20 home run pop from the left side while adding a little more athleticism, that can benefit the Yankees. Remember 2019 where everyone got hurt and they were using Maben and Talkman and all these different, the next man up, and they were creating offense, and everyone was like, this is what we've been asking for, like the SpongeBob scene. So maybe they can do more of that now, and they're still going to have some pop because Judge and Belly, Jazz, Wells, Goldschmidt, these are all guys that can have 20-plus home runs, Dominguez as well. So I think you should have a good blend of offense, with power, and speed, but I think a lot of it has to do with the youth on this team. If that group of guys that I mentioned can have a good season, and they don't have to have Rookie of the Year campaigns or MVP campaigns, but if they're all putting up solid numbers, and I should put Cabrera in that category as well, this team can really, really thrive at a point where a lot of people are kind of casting them out. Donald has an 84-win prediction. I don't blame him for it. Jeff Passan says the Yankees aren't even going to make the playoffs. I don't blame him for it. But he also said whenever he kind of doubts the Yankees, they seem to prove him wrong. These are the ways they can do that.
Yeah, people that are having predictions that are below our expectation, I can't say, oh, it's a stupid take. It's just like somebody that's going to come in and be like, well, if the Yankees don't win the World Series, it was a failed season. I can't dump on somebody's prediction before a real game's even played. I think that'd be unfair. I think a lot of the people that we interact with are of a sound mind that understand that there's a realism that comes into play. And for me, my X factor, I'm going to, Jake Boss brought his name up. I think Fried is going to be an X factor for this staff as far as the pitching, especially with the loss of Cole. Fried needs to step into that ace role that we know he can be and just really set the tone when he's on the mound. And I guess my backup X factor is going to be the defense. Because if the defense is able to prevent, because we're going to have a lot of contact pitches with contact. If the defense is buttoned up and it's sharp and they prevent runs from scoring, it's going to give a suspect offense just a little more of a chance to, situationally put up a few runs. And I think that's the formula for this team.
No, you're right. You're right. Absolutely right. Max Fried is an X factor. If he is an ace, then it's going to help survive the loss of Cole. If Rodon
he can't have Rodon's first season with us, that's unacceptable. Right.
He can't be bad. He has to be Max Fried. If it's Max Fried from last year, that we're going to be fine. If Rodon is a little bit, I would expect him to be better than last year. But if he's around last year's numbers, you're going to take that. He should be better. If Stroman can avoid that second half collapse, he'll be better. We'll get Clark Schmidt back. We'll eventually get Luis Heel back, although I don't know what his role is going to be. And all Carrasco and Warren have to do is just keep us in games. We're not asking them to go win awards. We're just asking them to keep us in ball games. I think The starting pitching should be okay, but the bullpen, I really like the bullpen. Even with some of the injuries that we have a closer now. We have a setup man. We have very good options for middle relief. And we don't even have everybody healthy yet. So we're going to get some of those guys back, like Cousins and Hamilton and eventually Loizaga. That's going to help shorten these games, which is going to help guys like Stroman and Warren and Carrasco and Schmidt. I think they have enough, even with the injuries, I think the pitching is still going to be good. And hey, there's also a chance that they can go out and make like a midseason acquisition if need be. So I'm still very excited. I'm not going to go too, like I said earlier, I'm not going to go overly crazy with the prediction. I disagree with Doran here. I think Goldschmidt is a far better player than Rizzo at this point. Just look at Goldschmidt had one of his worst seasons last year, and it was leagues better.
A respectable season.
Right. We had the worst production from first base in all of baseball last year. Anything we added, even on defense, anything we added was an upgrade over Anthony Rizzo. Rizzo stunk last year. I like Anthony Rizzo. I wish he was on a team this year. He was awful offensively and defensively last year. He was not good. Goldschmidt, anybody we added, whether it was Goldschmidt, Santana, Lamont Wade, Josh Naylor, anybody we got was an upgrade. So Goldschmidt, even if he puts up numbers from last year, it should be an upgrade. The question is third base. I still think third base is a big question mark. Low expectations, high ceiling base. Yeah, you're right, TC. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. You've known me for years now. I always come in, this is our year. I don't know if this is our year, but I'm expecting, I'm just going in with expect the unexpected. That's it. This way, if we have a bit, a tough season, right? We got, when you lose Cole, you lose Heel for half a season. You're not sure about Stanton. Unlike last year, we don't have a Juan Soto in the lineup to protect Judge. Like, these all come into play, but I think it leads into the next prediction is who is the unsung hero? Like, who's that player on this roster right now that is going to bring us the most hope?
I mean, it's Aaron Judge. I know he's not an unsung hero, but if Aaron Judge is healthy, then Aaron Judge is going to lead this team as far as he possibly can. I mean, that's probably the easiest answer I can think. I know he's not an unsung hero, but like if you're talking about someone who's going to bring you the most hope, it's Aaron Judge. I mean, how can it not be?
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, Judge is the easy answer. I think the one that we've been very high on and enjoyed watching him play. I think we're going to see a monster season from Austin Wells. I'll even go as far as I think Wells is making the All-Star team this year. Like, I think he's going to have that caliber of season. He looks dialed in. He looks focused. He's taking even more of a mature approach to the game with him this year. And we know how well he works with the pitching staff. I think Wells is going to be huge for the team this year.
Yeah, he should be great. I'm very excited for him. Now, if we're talking about anybody but Aaron Judge, then I'm gonna go. I mean, Wells is a great choice. Cabrera is a good choice. If he can just be respectable at third, that'd be great. If Volpe has a breakout, if Dominguez has a good season, but I got to go with Belly. If Cody Bellinger can provide that thump behind Aaron Judge, it won't be Soto-esque, but if Cody Bellinger can be similar to 2023 Bellinger, we're going to be in really good shape. We need that. We don't need 2024 Bellinger. Those aren't the worst numbers in the world, but they're not great either. If we get 2023 Bellinger, that's a pretty damn big addition to this lineup. About as good as you can get to replace a bat like Juan Soto at this rate. So the Yankees need that. Fortunately, Bellinger's spring was fantastic. He hit a bomb in that exhibition game in Miami in front of like 7 people. But I'm very excited to see him. If we can get that kind of production from Belly, that's going to be big. And I think that could be the unsung hero. If we're talking about anyone other than Aaron Judge, that can be the guy that brings us hope. Belly could be that guy.
Donald, obviously, aside for we'll take Judge out of the equation just because it's an easy pick. Who do you think is going to be the unsung hero this year that really just gives you hope that it's going to be more of a successful season?
It's going to be Austin Wells. Austin Wells is definitely that one, and my X factor is Bellinger. Bellinger is the key to the lineup, and I have him having a very, very good year. And Austin Wells is my unsung hero. I think he's going to have a great year leading off. I can just predict a very good year, and I actually think he's going to make the All-Star team. That's my pick.
So
I believe
nice.
Austin Wells is going to make the All-Star team. I think him, Jazz, and Judge are going to make the All-Star team.
Donald and I on the same page. Game 1 of the season. Oh, it's going to be a good year.
That Jazz shout is, I think Jazz is so important to this team.
Yeah,
yeah. I was tinkering because the whole X Factor thing, I was like, Jazz, and then I was like, should I pick Dominguez? Because if he has a Chirrio type, I'm not even going to say like Garrett Mitchell or Jackson Merrill because that's like otherworldly. But if he has a Chirrio type of year at the middle, at the bottom of the order, when he's batting like 6th or 7th, that's going to be huge. I don't want to put those expectations on him, but I think Dominguez has that skill set offensive where he can have 750 OPS or higher, 20-plus home runs. He's going to steal bases. He's got that potential, but a full season of Jazz, I've been saying this since last year, that cannot go overlooked. That guy can hit 30 bombs easy in Yankee Stadium with his swing. That's going to help so much batting 5th. I'm so excited for Jazz Chisholm. I cannot be happier. He's a Yankee for 2 more years. And I know I think Doran brought it up last week. His numbers just from half a season with the Yankees, if they were put into a full season, he would have been like a 35 home run, I think 50 stolen base type of guy. Bro, if we get that, I'm saying right now, if you get that, extend him. You don't worry about the prospects. You extend Jazz Chisholm and you make sure he's here for a very long time. That would be insane if we got those kind of numbers. I don't think we will, but if we get 30-plus bombs and like 40-some-odd or more stolen bases, extend him. Absolutely extend him.
I've got that for him. I think he's going to have a 30, 40 year, maybe 30 minimum. I think he will get 30 home runs.
I love me some Jazz.
Yep. Yeah, we brought up Judges. Obviously, he's going to be a huge factor. I'm curious with the different lineup that he's hitting in this year as opposed to last year. Over under 45 home runs for Judge.
I've got under.
Mm-hmm.
I've got him going 44. I've got 44 home runs for Aaron Judge this year, and it's still going to be a good year. I mean, 44 is not, by any stretch of the imagination. I'm going 44 because I can't expect him to be Superman every year. But
right.
I've still got him driving in 110 RBIs and having 44 home runs. So I mean, that's still a really, really good year. But I'm not sure if he's going to have the same year as he did last year. Besides Soto, I just don't see it.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll hit over 50, but I do think he'll hit over 45. So I'm going to take the over on it. Okay. Just because I don't think they're going to pitch around him much. I think they're going to attack him more because I don't think they're going to be intimidated, especially early on in the season where they're not sure where players are going to fit into their role. I think pitchers are going to be a little, I don't want to say dumb and just pitch to Soto, thinking the rest of the pitch to Judge, thinking the rest of the lineup isn't going to be able, it'll just be a single number because there won't be many people on base. I think they're going to underestimate the lineup.
Aaron Judge is basically this generation's Bonds in terms of you don't want to pitch to him no matter what. I mean, look at it last year, even with Soto in front of him and Stanton behind him, they weren't pitching to the guy. So Now he's got Goldschmidt, who's league average at best offensively. I mean, do you want to pitch to Aaron Judge? I think he's going to hit under 45. But again, like Donald just said, if he hits 40, that's still a good year.
Yeah.
40 home runs, you're like, that's how good Aaron Judge is, that if he hits 40 home runs, you're like, that's kind of a down year for him.
Yeah, right.
You know, like that's how good the guy is in the regular season. So, it's just, I can't put that expectation on him, like, oh, he's going to hit 60 again, or he's going to hit 58. Like, if we do that every year, then your expectations are going to be not going to be met. The fact that he had like 160 home runs in 3 years is insane. I don't know what the number is, but he would have had even more if he didn't run into that goddamn slab of concrete, because he was on pace to do it again in 23. So I think he'll get, I think 45 is a good number, but I'll go slightly under because I just don't think they're going to pitch to him as much. Now, if Goldschmidt hits and Jazz is hitting, then they'll have to pitch to him, and that's the best case scenario, because then he's going to probably hit 47, 48, maybe hit 50 again. That's just the kind of player he is. And if he does hit 50, you're not going to see me be shocked at all. I'll be like, that's just Aaron Judge.
Yeah. No doubt. No doubt. He's got it. He's easily get 50 if he wanted. But I do think that they're going to pitch around him a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like this comment from Sean. He's flirted with the triple crown twice. Can't recall another batter to do that. I can't either. But I also like this comment here from Jake Boss. Jazz reminds you of a good fielding Soriano. I actually think that's actually a pretty fair comparison. What do you guys think?
Definitely agree with that. And I want to say a big welcome to Rob's dad.
The legend returns.
It is so good to. Honestly, it's made my day to see you in the chat, my guy. I hope you're doing well. Big love from over here.
Yeah, he's recovering. I don't want to put out too much information, but he's doing a lot better. A few weeks ago, we haven't seen him in our chat for reasons that I won't get into, but it is good to see him back in our chat. Once he starts to be able to speak again, you're going to hear him yelling about this team. That's for sure. I'll be getting a lot of phone calls. Like, can you believe Boone? I'm ready for it, but save your voice. But I'm glad he's back in our chat, because glad he's back. That's all I'm going to say. Glad he's back. Good to see you, Dad.
So, Donald, do you have any predictions that you wanted to throw around?
Yeah, I've actually predicted the whole stat line of our current lineup, and that includes Ben Rice as our DH. So I thought I would get them out, and then we'll pass it around the panel to see what you guys' predictions are, stat lines are. So I'm going to start with Dominguez. I've got him batting a very decent 260, and I've got him with a 751 OPS, 22 home runs, 60 RBIs.
That's a respectable rookie year. Okay.
Yeah, more than respectable. I think that's a really good rookie year.
Sign me
Well,
up.
I think also with the hype around him, I think that's actually an achievable stat line.
Right. Yeah, it's not over ambitious at all. I think he can do that. All league average right across the board. Cody Bellinger is going to have a very good year. I've got him batting 280, which is like 20 points up from last year. I've got an OPS just under 800, 790, and I've got 28 home runs, 90 RBIs for Cody Bellinger. Again, I think there's a very good chance he's going to get 30, to be honest. But I'm just looking at over the last 5 years. I would say this would be a huge year for him if he got 28 homers, 90 RBIs, and 280 batting average. I think it's more than achievable. In fact, I'd say there's a good chance that he's going to get 30 home runs. But that's my stat line for him. 28 and 90, 790 OPS, 280 batting average. Aaron Judge. I've got him batting 295, which is a little down from his previous years, but still good. And I've got him with an 850 OPS. And I got 44 home runs, 110 RBIs. So
That OPS is down a little bit from where it usually is. That's interesting.
Yeah, you know what? We'll probably boost that up to maybe 900.
Because if they're going to be pitching around him, that on base is going to be
There'll
like
be a
four
lot of
something.
walk.
He's
Yeah,
going to be with 400 on base.
Yeah, it's okay. So give me a 900 OPS and 44 homers, 110 reps. Okay, Goldschmidt got him batting 258 and 760 OPS, 26 homers, 79 RBIs. So still,
Hey.
I would take that.
Still much better numbers than he's had the year before. And it's pretty much in line with what you would kind of.
Yeah.
I think it's probably an optimistic one, but I think he's had a very good spring. So I think it's more than achievable as well. 26 homers for Goldschmidt. Yeah. What did he have last year? Like 22?
I think he had 22, and that was a bad year.
Yeah,
and that's playing at a bad park for him for his
right. And I think that'll jump up a little bit. But with his age, he might miss a couple games.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking 26. If he played all 162, I think he'd easily get 30. But I think he might need to be rested a bunch. Okay, let's give you Austin Wells. As I say, I've already got him as an all-star. Got him batting 280. I got a 770 OPS, and I got 21 homers, 70 RBIs. So his on base will be up. He'll be driving in runs. He might not have like a million home runs, but he's going to bat for a high average because he's leading off. So there'll be more expectation for him to get on base. So I've got his numbers being higher than his home runs, but in general, still got a very, very good year for Austin Wells. Got him as an all-star. Jazz, 220 batting average, but 800 OPS and 34 home runs for Jazz. Chisholm, 70 ribs. So 75 ribbies for Jazz Chisholm, 34 home runs, 75 RBIs. I would take that for Jazz Chisholm. The batting average will always be low because he's not a high average player, but his slug and his OPS will always be sky high. That's just him. So I've also got him stealing about 40 bases as well. So 34 homers, 40 stolen bases. He's going to have a great year. Anthony Volpe. I've actually got a pretty bad year for Anthony Volpe. I've got him batting 199 with a 600 OPS, 18 home runs. So, he's going to have a rough year, in my opinion. Oswaldo, I've got him batting 210 with 650 OPS and just 11 home runs because I expect you will be platooning with someone very soon. I don't know who. Certainly won't be Oswaldo Cabrera, Oswald Peraza, that's for sure.
Isn't that crazy? We're like hours away from opening day and we still don't know who the other bat is that they want to add.
Well, it did come out that Pablo Reyes is going to make the opening day.
Right, but at this point, they're still working the phones to try to find another bat.
Oh, we're going to get into that.
And then finally got Ben Rice. Obviously, his batting average won't be very high; it'll be like 220. But he's gonna have with less playing time than Volpe, he's gonna have either the same number or slightly more home runs. Got him about 18 home runs because he looks like a beast, and I think the power is gonna be there. The batting average won't be there, but the power will. So I can see him hitting 19 home runs actually as a regular bench player / DH. That's what I've got for Ben Rice. So that's my batting lineup. We're getting into the rotation afterwards. So let's pass it to Rob. What's your stat line for the above?
Man, well, I mean, I like your predictions for pretty much most of it. I don't like the Volpe prediction. Oh, hey, we got a super chat here from Slim Lewis. Let's get to that. Jackson Churio hit 2 home run off of Rodon. Yankees podcast is panic as Brewers take 2 of 3, but Yankees will be a great team overall. You know what, Slim? Thank you for the super chat. I actually can see that happening. If we go 1-2 to start the year and Rodon gives up 2 home runs to the same guy,
yeah, we'll be panicking.
This guy's a bum. Why did Cashman pay him? Just one start in. I can absolutely see that. I hope you're wrong, but I can absolutely see that. But thank you, Slim. I don't think Volpe is going to have that bad of a year, but I don't think he's going to have like a breakout by any. I don't think he's going to hit 300. But last year he hit what, 250, like around 250.
Yeah, I could see like 220, 225 in that range.
I think it'll be even higher. I think it'll be like a 240-ish. I just don't think he's going to go crazy with the home runs again. I would like to see it because he did show some pop towards the end of the spring, but I'm going to say he's slightly better, which is it's still not good. I think he's going to be a little bit better than last year because I can't see him being worse. I don't think he can afford to be worse.
No,
if he can get to like a 700 OPS, I think I'm gonna sign up for that. Which is that's setting the bar very low. But his offense has just not been there. I love his glove. I like his speed. I need him to get on base to use it more. But that 190, I can't see that. I can't see that.
You know, would it surprise me?
Is I've got all the other names I've got having basically slightly above expectation years. And by the law of averages, there's always going to be one guy that we're all going to be like, this guy effing sucks.
Well, yeah, right? Someone's got to be the punching bag.
Someone's going to have to be the punching bag. And of all the people that I've gone through, the most likely by far is Anthony Volpe because he's not had a league average year offensively yet. Whereas everyone else I've mentioned has all got that in their bag already. That's why I'm going with Anthony Volpe. Not because I hate the guy, just that if you look at the law of averages, there's going to be one guy that's going to really suck this year, right? There always is. And I just think it's more likely him than everybody else. Just the way that spring's gone. He's had a pretty nasty spring, and he had a pretty nasty year last year, apart from defensively. And he didn't have a very good rookie year either. So that's it. I'm just kind of calling it as I see it. Anyway, I'm just not that high on him. I don't think he's a particular.
No, you're not wrong for how for your opinion on him. Is what really, if you think about what has he done to make people other than me jump through hoops, and still think that he can be a formidable part of this team.
Yeah, you picked him over Gunnar Henderson at one point, so
I own that one. But that was off of 2 months of Henderson and a full year of Volpe. But no, I definitely missed the mark on that prediction.
I think we're all going to be looking forward to seeing Lombard.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I think that's going to be the factor for Volpe. Is the development, the rapid development of Lombard going to either light a fire up his ass or have his flame fizzle out is going to be all on him.
The thing is, he doesn't have to be an MVP. I'm putting the expectations as low as I possibly can here. He just has to be like around league average with the bat because the glove is there. His defense is there. He just has to be at least league average offensively. I mean, that's like the bare minimum you can ask for a top prospect at this point, because a lot of times top prospect, this guy was a top 5 prospect, maybe top 10 in baseball. Let's not forget that. He was up there. He was one of the best prospects in baseball. So the expectation is that they're supposed to be good. I'm putting the bare minimum for him offensively. So I can't see. I understand where Donald's coming from. Trust me, because he's not shown us much of anything to be 750 OPS, 25 home runs. He's going to steal 60. But if there's going to be a punching bag, I agree it'd probably be him because he hasn't shown that. But also, if they give a lot of at-bats to Cabrera, because I don't know who's playing third against lefties right now, it could easily be him because we've seen him when he gets the everyday at-bats, he fizzles out. So I am a bit concerned about the bottom of this order if those two guys aren't hitting. But I think they have Volpe batting 6th, which for some reason, which I don't know why they're doing that over Dominguez. I would put Dominguez 6, Volpe 7, but I think Volpe needs to be at least, like I said, league average, at least. If he's slightly below that, even that's an improvement over last year because he was bad last year. We can't ignore that. We cannot overlook that. I just don't know if I'm going to go to a 190 average. That's the thing. I don't think he'll hit 190. 3-way platoon, which is, oof. That's a rough. If
That-
that's if that's what they're doing at third base, my God, did they miss the mark this offseason?
Well, I do think the top to middle of the lineup will be slightly better than we expect. I do, but I think the bottom of the lineup is kind of soft. That's just my prediction.
Yeah, like things can go really well with Rice and even Volpe, but things can go catastrophically wrong with the same players that we just mentioned. So, like, if Ben Rice doesn't hit for power, he's really not going to do much of anything else. Like, that bad speed can mean nothing if
Let's
he's not hitting it
predict the
over the
home
wall.
runs for the lineup, right? Just so that we've got it written down and we can go back to it. So, Dominguez, how many home runs do you have him hitting raw? I've got 22. What have you got?
I'll say 24.
24. All right, okay. Tats.
Ooh. I'm gonna say 26.
Woo! All right. Okay, Volpe. I've got, what do I got? 18? Yeah, I've got 18 for him. What have you guys got?
15.
Oh, you've actually got worse home runs than me. Damn, bro.
My prediction for him is going to be he's going to go back to more of a level swing than a power swing, just for his own survival.
Okay.
Well, that's what he did last year, and his offense was actually technically slightly better and slightly and worse in some categories. I think he's going to hit 20. I think that power stroke was kind of finding itself late in the spring, and it was also there a bit in October. I think he'll get 20.
Alrighty. Now, Bellinger, I've got a great year. I've got him batting 28 home runs. What about you guys?
I got 27.
T.
Really? You know what? I'm gonna with the short porch. I'm gonna give him 30.
Beautiful. I do see 30 as
You know what?
I think he's. Hey, Lynn, stop copying off my paper.
You're right, because we do have basically an extra 6 home games since we play the Rays on the road.
Yeah.
He's going to hit 30. I think he'll hit 30.
All right. All right. Goldie.
You had 26, right, Donald?
I got 26, yeah.
I'll give him 24.
No, I'll go 25. 25, Bob.
Well, pretty much in line. AW. I've got 21 home runs for Mr. Wells.
I'm giving him 25. I think he's going to have a big year. I'm going to give him 25.
Wells. Let's say 28. I think he's gonna have a really big power year.
Okay. I've got Jazz 34.
I think he'll get. I'm going to go with 29.
Oh, so you have him under a 30 or 40 stealing stolen base.
No, I think he can get there, but I would rather him have a higher average. I know he's going to hit for power. I know what's going to happen eventually, but I want him to kind of be more of a. 29 is still a good number.
Yeah.
But I want him to get on base a little bit more to use that speed. I know the home runs are great, don't get me wrong, but I need him to use that speed. I think he can still reach the 40 stolen base mark. I want that average to be up though.
I don't have him having a high batting average. I've only got him batting 220. So that's why
that golf swing is pretty.
That's why I've got that power up and his average
down.
Yeah.
No, it makes sense. I'm going to say 31.
Nice. Okay. Let's go with Waldo.
7.
Yeah, I've got 11.
I'll go 10. I want him to get to double digits, but I don't think it's going to be more than that.
So we're all
I think he could be I think he could be a double digit home run guy. So I'll just go.
Yeah, I think he will too. it would be great numbers if you're off the bench. It's going to be very disappointing numbers per starter. That's all I'll say. And Ben Rice, I've got him having a surprisingly good year if the Yankees give him the at-bats. I've got him hitting 18 home runs, but very low numbers otherwise. Robin Tats.
As a DH, focusing just on hitting, I could see him getting to 20.
Okay.
Lynn's got 34. My God. I'm gonna
Sign me up, Lynn.
Jesus, give me. I think he'll get. I think he'll get 23. I think that lefty swing is going to really play if they let him play, like you said, Donald, because we saw him hit 3 in one game.
She's like, I said what I said. No, believe me, I'll take that. 34.
I have him having a good year. It's just I'm thinking with the at bats. I just don't know if he's going to get the amount of at bats to get up to the 20s, but I think he's going to have a good year. I think he's going to surprise you with the power. But I think that they're going to want to use the DH spot to rotate Judge a lot, and I think that they're going to want to use the DH spot when Stanton comes back. I assume he's going to come back at some point in the end of the year, and I think they're going to want to give whoever they acquire, plenty of at-bats too, and possibly as a DH. So I just
also, we can't hit lefties. Let's not forget that.
Right, and I just don't think that Rice is going to have the at-bats to get into the 20s and the 30s. But I think he's still going to have a good year. So that's my lineup. Should we get into the rotation? I've got Williams getting 40 saves, and probably a sub-2 ERA. Now, the rotation is going to take a hit without Garrett Cole. That's what I've got. I've got Stroman having a rough year. I've got him having a losing record and a 5.90 ERA.
5.90?
Yeah, 5.90 ERA. I've got Stroman having a rough year.
Jesus.
Losing record, 5.90 ERA. Because I think if you're going to have such a really good offensive year, which I do have, I don't know if their rotation is going to be able to. I'm just thinking of the averages. A lot of averages are not going to be high with that. So Stroman, I've got having a horrible year. Rodon, I have him pretty much in line with what he had last year, 16-10 with a 3.95 ERA. I've got him roundabout in that same lane there. I've got Fried having an all-star year. I think he's going to go 19-9 with a 2.90 ERA. I think Max Fried's going to have a huge year.
That's ace.
Will Warren, I've got him the 4.40 ERA. And I've got Cookie having a slightly better year than that. But he was so bad last year, I would be crazy to give him crazy optimism. So I'm going to go with a 4 ERA with Cookie. So I've got Cookie with a 4. I've got Warren 4.40. Max Fried 2.90, Rodon 3.95, Stroman 5.90. And I do think that when we see Schmidt and Heel, that they will all have ERAs like in the mid-3s. So they're going to be good, and they're going to help to even up some of the horrible years that we're going to get from Stroman, etc. So that's my predictions. Let's pass to Rob. What's your ERA predictions for those 5?
Well, I think Stroman's going to be lower than that. I don't think he's going to be great, but I think he'll be like, I'll take mid-4s at this point. If your expectation's 5.9, give me, I don't think he's going to be that great this year, but I don't think he's going to be that bad. I would say about a 4, like right what he was last year, like a 4.1, I think he was, which wasn't great by any means. I do think at some point they're going to have to replace him for multiple reasons. 1, second half swoon. 2, the innings. Perfect world, he doesn't need to do that, and he's pitching really well, but I don't think we're living in a perfect world for him. I think he'll have about a 4.3. I don't think it's going to be a great year, but I don't think it's going to be terrible. He should keep us in games.
Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking of like a 4.5.
Yeah, even that's pretty rough. I mean, 4.3 is not good by any means, but I'm just thinking every year he hits that lull after like the first 2 months. I think he'll be good for April and May. And then once
Yeah.
the weather warms up, he's going to get tagged. It's just what happens every year.
That's true. That's true.
He does pitch better in the cold weather, which is really strange for a pitcher.
Right. So it's like it kind of makes you wonder when his it's not even a second half swoon. It's like a third month swoon. Fried, I think, is going to be great. I think Fried, I like where your number was. I think he'll be a little bit closer to 3, but
Okay. Yeah.
that's because where he's been around his career in the 3s. But I think he's going to be really, really good. Rodon, I'm going to go about a 3.7. I think he knows he has to be better. And that last start of the spring gave me some optimism that he's going to have a much better season. Not significantly better, but he'll be more reliable. And I think him getting the opening day start kind of might have raised his spirits a little bit. I know it was kind of forced because of Cole, but I think he's in a good place right now. I really, really can't wait for Clark Schmidt to be healthy. I think he's going to be very, very good. He's a 5-6 inning guy. Gives up 2, 3, 4 runs a game. He's a mid-3s ERA kind of pitcher.
I've got him mid-3s as well,
Yeah.
man. Like, give me 3.5 for Schmidt.
Warren, he's been getting tagged his last couple of starts in the spring, and the Marlins got to him, which is not a good look. If the Marlins are starting to get to you, I don't think he's going to be anything close to what Heel was. I don't think he's going to be terrible, though. I think a mid-4 is pretty spot on for him.
So 440s for me. What about you?
I got him at a 4.5.
Yeah, okay.
I also think he's going to be sent down when Schmidt's healthy, so I don't know how many starts he's actually going to get.
Oh, that's interesting.
Just because depending on what happens with Cookie, if we go 3 starts in and Cookie's at like a 3.8 or something like that, and Warren's at like a 4.5, Warren's got the option. They're going to use it.
I do think that Cookie's going to have a very good year. And I think for a long stretches, he's going to be one of our better pitchers. But I think he's going to get tagged for a couple of games, and his ERA will settle at about 4. But I think he's going to have a winning record. I do think Cookie's going to surprise people. So, Rob, what about you?
Yeah, I'm going to put him slightly above, maybe like a 4.1. I think he'll be around there. Again, my expectations for him are just to keep us in games until we can get some guys healthy. And if we get that from him, it's better than last year. You can't say he's going to put up a 1 ERA in the regular season because his spring's been so good. It gives you some optimism. But I think around a 4.1, I think that's respectable for 38 years old and at the bottom of the rotation. Sign me up for that.
And how many saves have you got Williams getting?
50.
Wow. Okay, cool.
I was higher on Clay Holmes than you, and I'm so fucking happy we have a closer now because we will not be seeing those palpitations that we have every single time that asshole took the mound last year in the 9th inning. And we won't have the defense behind him that's going to screw everything up. I think Devin Williams is going to get himself a very nice contract from us, hopefully, this offseason. I think he's in for a big year.
I think he's going to I don't think he's going to blow many or any saves. I'm just wondering how many save opportunities he's going to get. I can see there'll be a lot of games where the Yankees will be up by more than 3, and there'll be a lot of games where the Yankees will be down by more. But down going into the 9th inning, so you might not have the opportunities. I think you might see him get more wins because he's going to come in the 9th in a lot of tie games maybe, or maybe down 1 or something like that. And he's going to keep you in the game, and then the Yankees might come back, something like that. So I've got the saves, maybe not in the 50s because I just don't know how many opportunities he's going to get. But I think 40 plus and a sub-2 ERA. I think Williams is going to get a very nice contract. And hopefully with the Yankees. I think he's going to be a brilliant, brilliant addition. So that's definitely my predictions there. Let's pass the test. What do you think, man?
Devin, I would say I don't think he's going to, like you said, I don't think you're going to see the save opportunities that we expect. So I think he's going to get to 40 saves. I mean, if it's 50 like Rob's predicting, I'll be freaking ecstatic. But I just think, law of averages, but opportunity, I'm going to stick with my guess of 40. Mm-hmm. And I think I can see his ERA being around like a 2.9.
Oh, that's
I
high.
think he's going to be,
Well, that's pretty high. Do you think?
not 2.9, 1.9. I think he's
All
having a
right.
phenomenal year. Yeah, I think he does because when he comes on, he's not going to be an overused closer.
Yeah.
So, and I want to have that bit of optimism that it's not Clay Holmes coming out there, that it's an actual closer.
I agree with that. And what about the ERAs for our rotation?
All right. So with Fried, I could see like a 3.1 on the ERA.
Yep.
I don't think any of the pitching staff's gonna really have that ace season. Although they'll have the wins, I think, because the bullpen's gonna be bailing them out a lot.
Yeah, I can see that.
So they're gonna kind of stop the bleeding. They'll let the offense take over. Carrasco, I think, is an interesting one. I could see Carrasco having an ERA under 4. It would not surprise me.
Under 4, yeah.
Under 4. So let's go 3.9.
Yeah, I like that. I can definitely.
Yeah,
see that.
I do think I'm with you. I think he's going to have a very surprising year.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a big improvement.
I think Stroman's going to. I don't think he'll be as. I don't think his ERA will be bloated to a 5. I'm going to say like 4.3. I think to start the year, he's going to have a very low ERA, and then he's going to implode, and he's just not going to get as many innings. So the ERA is going to be inflated, but not completely ballooned.
I can definitely see that. That's pretty fair, man. What about Will Warren?
Warren, because I don't think he's going to get as many opportunities, because I think he's the one that's going to go when Schmidt comes back. So I think he's going to have around 4. This is going to be his ERA.
4 ERA. That's fair.
Because if it's under 4 and he's around with Carrasco, it's going to make it a tough decision. And I think that the veteran presence of Carrasco with this rotation this year is going to be beneficial.
And Schmitty.
I think Schmidt's going to finish with a 3.3 ERA this season. I think he's going to pick up where he left off last year. He's going to have a good year.
Yeah, I agree with that. 3.3. And Rodon?
I think Rodon's going to have a better year than we expect.
Okay.
I think he's, last year I was just happy he stayed healthy the whole year. I think I'm going to say he's finishing with a 3.2.
Ooh, he's having a big year. Slightly.
Sign me up for that.
Yeah, man. If you get to see that, that's crazy shit. That was fucking great. Who, and both of you guys, who's going to be the X factor of the rotation? Who's going to be the surprise one, I should say, the surprise X factor of this rotation? Because there was always going to be one.
Carrasco?
Yeah.
I've got Carrasco as well.
Yeah.
So we're all agreed on Carrasco.
Carrasco is going to be that kind of the anchor of it.
And if what I'm thinking they're going to do is right, because Schmidt's probably going to be ready by mid-April, let's say. He has to get a few more stimulated starts in and extended spring training and all that. It kind of lines up perfectly when we go play Tampa. It'll be at our facility, basically, so he'll just cross the street. I think you only might see 3 starts from Warren, so I can't put him in that category. If Carrasco's pitching any relatively well, then Schmidt's going to get called up and Warren will be sent down. So I think it's got to be Carrasco. If he's just keeping us in games on a minor league deal, that might be the steal of the offseason, or one of.
I want to give an honorable mention also with that to Heal. When he's able to come back, if he's able to regain his status from last year and have that type of rookie of the year season that he had, I think that can be crucial to the end months of the season. Like late August, September. if Heel is healed like we saw last year, I think that's what's going to make us a playoff team.
Yeah, the only thing I'm going to think, though, is because he's missed a lot of games, he's going to have to rehab. There's going to be a kind of he's only going to be able to pitch like a short number of games. So 1 or 2 bad starts is going to make the ERA higher than it really should be. So because he's going to, I would say 8 out of 10 of his starts will be great, but then he'll maybe have 2 where he'll come up an unsightly number, and then that's going to boost his ERA way up to what it would normally be. So I'm actually not sure what I can give Heel. I'm just going to settle for like mid-3 for Luis Heel. But I think Clark Schmidt will definitely give us a mid-3s really good year too. But again, he's been injured as well, so we need to see. I mean, this is quite optimistic numbers because we're relying on the fact that no one else is going to get injured. And the way that the spring has gone, I don't know about that, but we'll see. But yeah, I think these are all pretty fair predictions. Now, Aaron, just to reiterate, Tads, you've got him going over 45. So you've got him like 45 plus 50.
I would say the final number on Judge, I think it's the 47.
47. All right. And I've got 44. And Rob?
Yeah, I think he's going to be under 45. I think 43 will be the number, although I can see 50. But I'm going to go with 43 because I just don't think they're going to pitch to him that much.
No, I don't think so either. But, I mean, still, if you look at those numbers that we've kind of gone through, you might have a surprising lineup.
That's why, again, I think the speed. I think the speed is going to be a big factor here as well, because we didn't go over stolen bases, but you're talking about Volpe, Jazz, Dominguez, even Rice, Cabrera. These guys can Bellinger. These guys can steal bags. We could have one of our best base running seasons, possibly ever. Like, we haven't had a base running team like this in a very long time. Everything we've heard about from the Yankees recently is they're old, they're slow, they're unathletic. Mm-hmm. That's changed. Bellinger can run. Judge, for his size, can run.
Wells has sneaky speed for a catcher.
He's got very sneaky speed. Volpe, we know, has got the speed. Jazz zooms through the bases. Like, Dominguez can run very well. Even Goldschmidt at 37, 38 can run very well. He's a very smart base runner. They brought in good base runners in Bellinger and Goldschmidt. I think that's going to really benefit and keeping the lineup moving is using the hit and run, using speed, changing things up. One of the benefits, if there is any, to losing a Soto is that you have to change your approach. You can't just bop your way to victory anymore. Now you got to try to do things differently. And using speed, you got to get on base first, but that's another thing they got to work on. But if they can use that speed, they can create offense in ways they didn't create before. And that's why I'm really excited and I'm more optimistic than some might be, because I think this offense can be very surprising because of that speed.
So you know what? I'm gonna amend, because of thinking about all this. I'm gonna amend my prediction. I'm gonna add them another 1 or 2. So I had them at 84. I'm gonna boost them up to about 86 now. Still not crazy, but I think that might be more in line with the way that the other predictions we have going, because they're all pretty optimistic predictions. And if I've only got 84 wins, something's not adding up. So I'm going to get them up to 86 now. I think that's fair.
Yeah, no, it's yeah, 86. I could see 86. I mean, I went with 89 just because I don't see them really as a 90-win team, but pretty damn close. You know, I think the biggest question mark is really the middle of the bullpen. You know, the low end of the bullpen is going to be a factor. You know, because you need that bridge from the starter to Weaver and Williams. So it's going to. I think that's really another part of a big part of the equation.
Well, yeah, you need big years from Leiter, and eventually Hamilton has to stay healthy. Fernando Cruz can't be having an 11 ERA. Tim Hill has to be good. Yarborough, I think those are two fine lefties. Hedrick's apparently making the roster as well. They're going to go 3 lefties. I think it's because they want guys that can give you length out of the bullpen, and Yarborough and Hedrick can do that. I think Yoendrys Gomes is in for a big year, and I also think they have a lot of sneaky good arms that are in the system right now that can come up and make an impact. Cousins will be healthy. We'll get Loizaga back. Maybe Efros decides he wants to be healthy this year. We'll get Brubaker back at some point. I think he cracked his ribs or something. So there's some arms that we have that can make an impact here. So I think the bullpen, one thing I'm never worried about with the Yankees, as long as they have a closer in place, the way they develop arms out of the dumpster sometimes, I'm not worried about middle relief. One of those guys are going to have a good year. It might be Hedrick. It might be Hedrick this year. So I'm excited for the bullpen. But the fact that we have a setup man and a closer that we can say, shut it down. The game is shortened now. You need to find a way to get through 7 innings because more times than not, the 8th and the 9th, if you got the lead, it's locked down. It should be. There will be days where things go wrong, of course, but more times than not, Weaver and Williams should be able to get you through the 8th and 9th. It's just figuring out, can you get 5 or 6 from the starter? I think with Fried and Rodon and Schmidt, you definitely can more days than not. Stroman, we'll see. That's an adventure. And we don't really know about Carrasco and Warren. It's navigating the first 7 innings. And you have a good balance of middle relief arms that can get you through those 7 innings until you turn the ball to Weaver and Williams.
And just so that I've got it on record, so I've got 86 wins and a wild card, and losing in the wild card series. Rob, what did you have? Because also my internet broke out. What did you have?
No, I had 90 being like the lowest. I'm going to go 93. I think they'll get 93, just one below
94 last year. You've got basically the same number of wins?
I think because they actually have a closer in the defense that won't cost us wins, it's going to actually help us. And taking those, we would have had at least 6, 7 more wins last year. That would have been 101.
Yep.
But we don't have Garrett Cole anymore. That's good for it. Like that kind of player that he is. I think 92. I'll go 92.
92. Okay.
And I think John hit it on the head that it's something that we've all been saying. It's a more balanced team. I think that is something where you're looking at when you look at the injuries, the free agents we missed out on, but also take into account the players that we did get. The growth of some of the players that we've already had in our system. I think it does balance itself out. It's going to be the team is definitely fundamentally stronger.
Taz, I think you had 89 wins, right?
Yeah, 89.
89 wins, yeah. I could definitely see that too. It's pretty fair, actually.
Well, guys, the roster is basically officially announced. The lineup is out.
Oh, yeah, I didn't see it.
The opening day lineup is out. So This is from Brian Hoke himself. Austin Wells leading off. Aaron Judge batting second. Bellinger is batting third. Goldschmidt cleaning up. Jazz is batting fifth. Dominguez is batting sixth. Good. They put him there. Volpe's batting seventh. Ben Rice eighth. Cabrera ninth. Rodon starting. Your bench, Escara, Grisham, Peraza, and Reyes. So Peraza has officially made this roster. For now, unless they do swing a move in the next couple of weeks. But that is your opening day lineup.
I'm glad to see Peraza made it, but
they're going with a 12-man pitching staff rather than 13. That's interesting.
No, that's 13 pitchers. I gave you a 4-man bench and a 9-man lineup. That's 13 and 13.
And do any of you guys have the Yankees making the CS or the World Series?
I think the ALCS. I think they can get it.
Rob, you got the ALCS? Wow, okay.
Yeah, and it's too early for math.
That's why we're here. That's why. I'm looking at. I got the benefit. I'm looking at the sheet right now, so I can do the quick math in my head. But no, that is 13 and 13.
Okay. Do they make? Yeah, I don't know. I at this stage, the way the roster's built, I can't see them getting past the divisional round.
Yeah, that's just pretty much on point.
Yeah, it's going to be a dogfight in the playoffs. It's not, they're not going to get pushed around. But I
I've got 86 in a wild card. Now, all of it could change in July. Say if
Yeah.
the Yankees swing a trade for Vlad Guerrero, which I don't think is going to happen, but because I don't think they have the prospects to make that happen, that they want to give up for a Vlad anyway. But if they did land a Vlad, then I'd be happy to revisit this.
well, we can always what we can do is come back to this at the All-Star break.
Yeah, at the trade
Either
deadline.
stand our ground or make or we change our heart.
Absolutely. That's a good idea. We'll revisit this at the All-Star break. But that's our predictions. And I think they're all pretty
I
fair.
think it's realistic.
Yeah. Rob's slightly on the optimistic side, which is cool. I'm on the more pessimistic side, and Tats is pretty much right in the middle. So we've got a good we've kind of got all
There's the Venn
fronts covered.
diagram of the Pinstripe Chronicles. John, they are at home.
Yeah.
They're starting the season it's in 4 hours, guys. Less than 4 hours. Well, with
That's
the festivities.
crazy, man.
4 hours it'll be here.
That's crazy.
But Tats, do you want to announce a little special announcement for the future of us channel here?
Yes,
What do you
I
want?
do.
Go
I'm gonna
ahead.
Pull this thing up. Make sure I read it off properly so I don't get yelled at. So, the Pinstripe Chronicles will have a new show premiering next Monday, March 31st, 8 p.m., called New York Heroes and History with the Upper Decks Lynn Ciara, and our one of an old but new member of the hosting aspect will also include Spencer, who we all love and adore, where they will be going over Yankees who made significant impacts on a team, happenings for the Yankees and MLB at that time. The premiere episode they'll be going back to the 1995 season and a significant acquisition made that year that kind of changed the outlook of the Yankees we watched.
I love it. So we've actually got a show covering the Yankee history.
Yes.
Brilliant. I love that idea.
So, and it will be a live show. So make sure to tune into that. No, I think there's only one prediction left that we haven't covered, and that is the score of today's game.
Yankees win 5-3. Carlos Rodon is going to give us 5 innings. Thank you for spoiling it, Sunil. Carlos Rodon's going to give us 5 innings. Devin Williams is going to get his first save in his first Yankee game. And I'm going to go and say the first home run of the season for the New York Yankees is coming off the bat of one Jason Dominguez. I got the Martian going yard today. I want to see it. I want the vibes. Give me a Martian home run. Give me a Yankees win. Let's go Yankees. Opening day is here. Baseball is back. Let's get hyped up.
Donald?
Yeah, that's a good one, actually. My first home run is going to be Bellinger. I'll go Bellinger hitting the first home run of the year. I've got the Yankees winning the Max Fried start. Rodon, I'm not sure. I've got them losing 4-2.
Certainly hope you're wrong.
Yeah, no, he hopes he's wrong too. He's, look, hey, it's.
Can I address Sunil real quick? Of course I knew the answer. You don't have to spoil it. We just hyped up a brand new show for Lynn and Sierra and Spencer. You don't think I know who they got that year? God damn it. Go on, Tats. I'm sorry. Opening day and I got to deal with this crap from him.
So,
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to go with a win. I'm going to go with a win. What'd you have? 5-3. I'm going to have 5-4. Give me a 5-4 win. I've changed my mind. I'm gonna try and be more optimistic. Going 5-4 win and Williams save and a Bellinger home run. That's what I'm going with. Rob, you go 5-3 and Dominguez home run. Tats.
I'm gonna say a 6-5 Yankees win. And I'm gonna go with Wells having a first inning home run. I think Wells is gonna have it.
Leadoff homer.
Leadoff homer.
Cool.
What pitch?
What pitch? Third pitch.
Third pitch. I was hoping you say first pitch. It's just first pitch of the year. He cranks it.
Wow. All right.
So they're saying they walk it off on a Bellinger home run.
That could happen.
I was saying the first home run goes to Jazz. I like that prediction.
I like CT's prediction of Bellinger. I think it's going to be Bellinger. But that's a great idea for the Yankee history show because there's no organization that has the history that the New York Yankees have. So, and there's not very many podcasts that cover the history. So, I think that's a really smart.
That's going to be a fun show. I'm looking
very
forward.
astute, and no one knows more stuff than Spence for Yankee history wise. So, he's going to be the person for all that. So I think that's a really good idea, and salute to Lynn and Spence and Sierra for that idea. I think it's really good, and I do recommend you guys checking that out. Sunil stop. So let's just finish it up.
Yeah, it's opening day. Everybody's going to be heading out to whether they're going to have a get together. They want to get some last minute shopping done before the game. They want to head to the stadium if they're going to the stadium. Have fun at the game. I'm looking forward to see all the pictures and posts on social media. Getting together with my friends later on. So I'm looking forward to a little baseball gathering. It's opening day. It's a holiday. I've been getting text messages from people. Happy opening day. Happy holiday. I'm all for it. I love the opening day feeling, the aura of it. Anything can happen. You expect the unexpected. But one thing we always expect is you people hanging out and giving us some of the best chat we can ask for. And look, we'll revisit some of these predictions as we go along through the season and see how we are on track. Because we will do a full unveiling always at the end of the season. You guys know that. But today, it's opening day. Let's kick off the Yankee season with a win. We'll see how that all plays out. We will be back tomorrow morning.
Woo!
And we will be finally breaking down a regular season game. So make sure you tune back in tomorrow morning with us at 10 a.m. So with that, make sure you hit that like button, hit that sub button if you want to join this awesome chat of ours. And share this out with your friends, your family, the strangers on the corner. Sister Pinstripe Chronicles, I Uncle Tats, you, Robinho, and Donald. We want to thank everybody hanging out. Everybody enjoy today's game. Wear those pinstripes of pride and fucking play hard.